Colorado history. The area that eventually became Colorado was first claimed by Spain in the 16th century and then France in the 18th century. Spain traced its claim to the southwest U.S. in the 1540 Coronado expedition that explored much of New Mexico and Arizona. While he probably didn't reach present-day Colorado, that didn't keep Spain from citing the trip as precedence for the claim to the Rio Grande and Colorado River Basin. The first Spanish settlement on the middle Rio Grande were in 1598. Spanish explorers had to have reached Colorado prior to 1694, since the written record from the Don Diego de Vargas 1694 trip into southern Colorado refers to already named landmarks that he passed. Colorado was acquired in part by the Louisiana Purchase in 1803 and explored by U.S. Army officers Zebulon Pike in 1806, Stephen Long 1819 and 1820, and John Fremont in 1842 and 1843. Additional lands came from Mexico in 1848 as a result of the Mexican War and from Texas in 1850. Early Spanish explorers who came to Mexico heard the natives tell exciting tales of the cities of gold and silver up to the north. To find the precious metals, many of these fortune hunters pressed northward, some of them coming into sections of the present New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado. Some of these adventurers were the first white men to see the Grand Canyon of Colorado, the Rio Grande Valley, and other sections of the Rocky Mountain Territory. Escalante, the Catholic priest who tried to find a shortcut from Santa Fe to the Pacific coast, came through there on his unsuccessful trip in the summer of 1776. About 50 years later, these sections swarmed with competing trappers and fur traders working for the various large fur companies of the eastern United States and Canada. Approximately 3,000 mountain men ranged the mountains between 1820 and 1840, the peak beaver harvesting period. While there were many free trappers, most mountain men were employed by major fur companies. The life of a company man was almost militarized. The men had mess groups, hunted and trapped in brigades, and always reported to the head of the trapping party. The real settlers of Colorado came about 1858, thus making the state the last to be occupied by permanent settlers. Many of the first comers were attracted by the discovery of gold and other metals. Not too successful in other fortune hunting, they turned to the land and the ranges for their livelihood. The territory of Jefferson was voted by the residents in 1859 but was never recognized by Congress. Thus, some of the counties have organized dates and records prior to 28 February 1861, when the territory of Colorado was recognized. In 1860, census showed a population of about 33,000 men and 1,500 women. This was taken when Colorado was still a part of Kansas. The first territory assembled created the first 17 counties in September of 1861. These were Arapahoe, Boulder, Clear Creek, Castilla, Douglas, El Paso, Fremont, Gilpin, Guadalupe, later named Conejos, Huerfano, Jefferson, Lake, Larimer, Park, Pueblo, Summit, and Weld. Three of Colorado's earliest communities had the honor of serving as capital of Colorado Territory. Colorado City in 1861 to 1862, Golden City in 1862 to 1867, and Denver in 1867 to 1876. The United States Congress passed an enabling act on March 3, 1875, specifying the requirements for the territory of Colorado to become a state. On August 1st, 1876, 28 days after the centennial of the nation, U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant signed the proclamation admitting the state of Colorado to the Union as the 38th state and earning the moniker Centennial State. The borders of the new state coincided with the borders established from the Colorado Territory. The obvious choice for the state capital was Denver, since it was already the territory capital. However, the mountain towns of Central City, near where the first gold was discovered, almost beat Denver out. After all, at the time, Central City not only had more culture than Denver, it had all the gold. Women won the right to vote in Colorado in 1893. Colorado was the first state in the Union to grant this right to women through a popular election and the second to grant women suffrage. Wyoming approved the right of women to vote in 1869 through a vote of the territorial legislation. A few birth records before January 1907 may be obtained at the office of the county registrar. After January 1907, at the State Bureau of Vital Statistics in Denver. A few death records before January 1900 may be obtained from the respective county registrar. After these dates, from the State Bureau of Vital Statistics in Denver. Marriage records were not generally recorded until 1881, but some counties have marriage records as early as 1860 and are kept by the county clerk, as are probate matters, wills, etc. All land titles, deeds, mortgages, leases, etc. are kept by the individual county recorders. This has been Learning About Colorado from a guy that sounds like Sam Elliott. Find out about other states on JonWilkinsReads.com, through GenWeb.com, free online genealogy and history. GenWeb.com. Narrated by Jon Wilkins.